Trump continues to roll out his tariff plans as planned and expected. This time, a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum coming into the U.S. We discuss more with Voice of America correspondent Jessica Stone. Welcome back, Jessica.
Good to be with you.
So, Jessica, let's begin with the targeted items. Why steel and why aluminum?
Well, the basic goal here, as it is for a lot of the tariffs, is for Trump to bring back manufacturing to the United States and to lessen the U.S.'s dependence on imports around the world. This is especially important, he believes, for military production and national security purposes. And as your reporter mentioned, this is also the playbook of 2018 and the last Trump 1.0 presidency, where he imposed tariffs of 25% on steel and 10% on aluminum on the EU, Canada, and Mexico. U.S. car companies, though, as you referred to in your piece there, and airplane makers are very vulnerable, not only in other parts of the world like South Korea, but inside the United States as well, because they can't get their metal parts domestically completely. And they've already lowered earnings forecasts, at least they did in 2018. Domestic steel producers actually raised prices, so U.S. car makers couldn't get better prices with local vendors. And these auto industry in the United States in particular is already facing tougher emission standards, the demand for electric vehicles and the subsidies from the last administration that encouraged them to build those. So they're already getting crunched in a couple of other parts of the market. And so we expect them to be vulnerable to these as well. Of course, one lesson has already been learned by Seoul in particular, which is that you need to diversify away from major trading partners once you start to see this kind of behavior. That's something Seoul has done. But it is, U.S. is still the largest destination for Korean steel, as your reporter mentioned. And Australia, by the way, is already seeking an exemption from this tariff, even before it was announced.
Indeed. And on top of the 25% tariff announced today, Trump is also expected to make a formal announcement about reciprocal tariffs on every country. I mean, what reciprocal tariffs are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's really hard to know exactly. The only thing we can say is that this concept is basically if you charge the United States a tariff, the U.S. will respond in equal measure. So we had Kevin Hassett, the key economic advisor on CNBC today saying, quote, if they are charging 130% and we are charging them nothing, it's not going to stay that way. Actually, that's what Trump said over the weekend. His economic advisor said, if they go down, we'll go down. So really, all we know is that there will be some reciprocity in this. We don't know what goods are going to be targeted. We don't know what countries are going to be targeted. This is a concept that Trump is rolling out. We really don't even have a timeline for when he's going to announce these. So we'll have to wait and see on that.
So more of an eye for an eye move. Now, so which countries we don't know yet will be included in the list. But what about sectors and fields? Do we know which sectors will be targeted next time?
So I think it's safe to look at the major trading partners with the United States as a place to start. So that could be the EU, India, Brazil. You can expect European pharmaceuticals to run afoul of any tariffs. That's a major export for them to the United States. Their aircraft also vulnerable to tariffs in the United States. The USTR has said, or rather, I should spell that out really, the U.S. Trade Representative has said that Brazil has, quote, relatively high tariffs on U.S. autos, technology, electronics, and ethanol. And Kevin Hassett, that economic advisor in that CNBC interview earlier today said, did single out Taiwan and India, mentioning, of course, Prime Minister Modi is due to visit the White House later this week, that issue would come up. He also said that almost every other country in the world has higher tariffs on U.S. goods than the U.S. has on their goods. So not a lot of detail, but definitely sticking with the concept. We should look at major trading partners. I would literally go and look for the list and look at least 1 through 15 to get a sense of who could be next in the crosshairs.
Well, we are yet to hear the reactions from the EU, but it's highly likely they're not going to be happy about it, right?
No, the EU Commission did say that they actually characterized these tariffs already as unlawful and counterproductive. What that indicates to me is that they're going to take this to the WTO, file a formal complaint. They've done that in the past, and let the World Trade Organization sort out whether these tariffs are warranted or not.
Well, Jessica, before I let you go, are we hearing anything about possible Trump-Xi negotiations, the phone talk between the leaders of the U.S. and China? I mean, how likely is it that Trump and Xi will actually hold talks in the near future?
Yeah, I think that's a question a lot of investors certainly want to know, and a lot
Mm.
of foreign policy folks. It's something that our VOA White House team is asking on the regular of the White House team. We pressed them last week for an update, and as of last Tuesday, you recall there was no call scheduled, and President Trump went so far to say that he's in no rush to schedule a phone call. A Trump spokesperson since then has said that Trump expects China to do more to stop fentanyl. We've heard that before from the White House. And on Wednesday, Beijing filed a complaint at the World Trade Organization calling tariffs on China, quote, discriminatory and protectionist. So we may see at least a response from the United States to that filing by the trade folks. It's been almost a month since these two leaders spoke when President Xi congratulated President Trump on taking office on
Right.
January 17th.
Alrighty, Jessica, thanks so much for your report today. You enjoy your evening there.
Thank you, and you enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate it. Good to be with you.